Okay, hello. Bit of a different one. Just wanted to talk a bit about the Arsenal transfer window so far, how it's going, how it might go, and just general thoughts on this. So first things first, we've bought in Kepa Arrizabalaga from Chelsea, previously on loan at both Real Madrid and Bournemouth. A very successful loan spell at Bournemouth last season, and honestly, for 5 million, that's a piece of business no one can really complain about. Obviously, people will try, but for all intents and purposes, it's very, very good business. Very happy with that. In terms of a shot stopper, he's brilliant. He's decent with the ball at his feet. He's that Spanish mold, and Arteta seems to love that. So, yeah, honestly, good business, good experienced keeper. Probably not someone that's going to push David Raya particularly, but a brilliant number two, just to have in and around the team, in training, all that kind of good stuff. And, for cup competitions and what have you, he's a very good backup. And, in the, situation that David Raya does get injured, we've got a very good backup there. So, yeah, shrewd, and it's a permanent one. We've been loaning in keepers the last few years, and yeah, it's nice that we've got one now, kind of on that permanent fixture. So yeah, very happy with that. Zubimendi as well. He's signed for Arsenal. A lot of people were talking about Real Madrid potentially hijacking it. There was a little bit of talk before we signed him with Barcelona and Liverpool wanting him too. Obviously, us locking that down is very big, actually. Apparently, we paid a little bit over his minimum release clause to kind of make sure it was all tied up and, gift wrapped and what have you. But yeah, very, very excited about that. A slightly more, maybe if we're looking at it cynically, a bit more immobile midfielder, but with a fantastic passing range, decent shielding of the back four, someone that can really pick up the ball and kind of drive forward, a bit like a lot of people have compared him to Jorginho and those kind of players, the ones that kind of sit and just kind of dictate the tempo, which we really missed last season, it feels. So yeah, very, very happy with that as well. Full Spanish international also. Obviously, a lot of English fans will remember him in the final where you guys lost, and he was a very pivotal player in that final after Rodri came off. So very, very exciting. We've also got the departure of the number 5. So having said this on previous episodes when talking about Arsenal, honestly, good riddance to him. Was never particularly comfortable with him being at the club for as long as he was after a lot of those allegations and things came out. So yeah, quite happy with that whole situation kind of coming to an end, to be honest. Furthermore, we have let go of Jorginho. He's gone to Flamengo, and again, a very solid player for us, good guy, and yeah, he'll probably be missed. So yeah, all the best to him. We've also had the extension of Miles Lewis-Skelly. We're very happy with that. He's really broke out last season. He seems to be a very big personality in the dressing room, technically brilliant, physically gifted, very good head on his shoulder it seems, and yeah, incredibly happy with that, because it just means that we don't have to buy another left back this year, you'd hope, or you'd think. Now, just before we get into the Noni Madueke stuff, it's worth mentioning that apparently Leandro Trossard and Alexander Zinchenko are going to be heading out the door this summer. So obviously Trossard's getting older, and to be honest, he's been a very good player for us, quite dependable. One of those players that's a joy to watch, always trying, he's creative, he's dynamic, got a shot on him, but also, got a very good ability to whip the ball in. And yeah, just very thankful he's been at the club. He's been a joy to watch. For years Arsenal have had those slightly smaller guys who are technically very gifted, your Rosicki's and your Cazorlas, and maybe he's not quite on that level, but in terms of a cult hero, he's probably going to be seen, hopefully, at that same kind of level, gifted with the ball at his feet, able to shift the ball around, gives us all, and has those moments of magic. So yeah, all the best to him if he does leave, although currently he is still an Arsenal player, which means, no goodbyes just yet. So Zinchenko the same. Zinchenko really came in when we were not looking that good. He kind of came in and a lot of people were like, oh, who's this guy? Why do we need him? He's a crybaby, all this, that, the third. And he came in and, really shifted the way we were playing. He is the reason we have started inverting our fullbacks. He was the blueprint from that. He is the technically capable left back who's able to bring the ball into midfield and spray a pass. And honestly, he could definitely play midfield for us. And he was explored in that position a little bit by Arteta last year. It's a bit of a shame he wasn't used there a bit more, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now it looks like he's going to be heading off to Italy, most likely, though there are rumours he'll be going to Fulham. Regardless, it doesn't look like we're going to be keeping him, and again, he's another one. Thank you for your time here, appreciate that. He's been a good player when he has played, and yes, there have been problems with his game. Let's not act like he was, completely robust and bulletproof, and let's not also act like he's lost his position to an 18-year-old. But that being said, he's still, again, set the blueprint for us, and he's really kind of helped establish us as that team that's in and around the league. He really fired us in terms of mentality towards that title, and that is, obviously a massive thing. So, thank you, Oleg. Moving on now, we have Christian Norgard, who's come in, the captain of Brentford. A very impressive player. Always quite liked him. Absolute steel. Like he is, Danish muscle, decent on the ball. Nothing spectacular, but rugged. And in those games where we're probably going to be fighting, like the scrappy games, your Everton aways, these kind of games, even like St James's Park, you need someone that's physically up to it, as well as got kind of that calm head on the shoulders, and he is that player. Now, a few times last season, he has lost it. There are a few circumstances, actually against us, it seems to ring a bell. He was a little bit feisty, but that little bit of needle, a little bit of nastiness, we kind of need it. An experienced player that obviously is calm and composed, but also got a bit about it, that streetwise kind of black magic, if you will. We maybe have been lacking that a little bit, that like smartness on the pitch, and that's probably what he's being brought in for. That kind of on-pitch general that's been there, done that. And, let's be honest, he's probably not going to be playing 40 games in the season, but he'll definitely be in and around it, cup games and coming on as a sub, and maybe those games that we, need someone to fill in, he'll be there, which is great. So yeah, very, very happy with that. Good bit of experience, top player, and clearly really wants to be here, which is, brilliant. So Fabio Vieira also come back. Again, looks like he's going to be leaving, and he's been one of those what-if players, hasn't he, really? No one really knows why he was brought in. No one really knows what position he was meant to be playing in for us, to be honest, and that's a bit of a stereotype, you hear these days with like, oh, what's his position? And it's kind of like with Havertz as well, isn't it? But Havertz actually cemented himself in as a 9, whereas Vieira's kind of been playing partially in Odegaard's position and partially in Saka's position, and kind of in that half space in between the two of them at times, and he's looked good. Obviously the goal against Brentford, very good goal. Technically he's very good. The assist for Martinelli against Villa, very memorable. If it rings a bell as well, the assist for Jesus against United, when he went round on Arnold, that was a brilliant goal. But he's got a bit about him. He just doesn't seem necessarily physically gifted enough for the Premier League, and not necessarily in terms of muscle, because you don't need muscle for the Prem necessarily. Look at like Bernardo Silva and David Silva, these kind of players who are probably, if you're going to be very complimentary, say in his mould, but they use their bodies wisely, and he just doesn't quite seem to be there, sadly. So again, another one that we're probably going to be seeing out the door. Albert Sambula Congo, however, looks like he might be staying, which is good. Always been a fan of his. He's a solid player by the looks of things. He's 24 now, so really kind of getting to that age now where it's make or break for him. And if we do keep him this season, he'll be in and around the team most likely. And excited for him, and hopefully he can really deliver, most likely in that left 8 position, to be honest. Price has been playing in for a lot of last season, probably cover there, with the way the team's currently looking, the squad's currently looking. yeah, very happy with that. Now we're going to get into two positions now that are a bit controversial, and that is Noni Madueke. So first things first, he's a top quality player. Let's not kid ourselves here. He's in a bit of a weird Chelsea squad. They had a lot of wingers last season. Obviously Mudryk did get that suspension, but he played a lot of last season. Looked good, especially against us. He's very active, a good ball carrier, good on the ball, got a few tricks in him. Maybe his end product isn't where it needs to be, but if you've seen what Arteta's done or been credited with doing over the last, well, his entire time as a manager, even as assistant at City, they were always, Sané and Sterling were always saying how much he got out of them. If you look at how much Saka's really burst on, you can see that, yeah, there are elements of the game, even with the Martinelli, and people are going to say, oh, Martinelli's crap, all this, that, the third. He's not. Let's not do that. But, yeah, hopefully he can, come here, do some great stuff, and honestly got absolute confidence he will, to be honest. A lot of people are treating him like a Kai Havertz, and it's not fair that, like, oh, he's a donkey, he's this, that, the third, and both of them are top players, and it almost feels like just because you got them from Chelsea, and the Chelsea fans are ribbing them a bit, they're like, oh, you're getting our Deadwood. Well, let's not forget, that Deadwood scored the winner for them in a Champions League final, and he's actually been a very good player for us, to be honest. He's been that target man that we've needed. He's been superb. He's assisted, he works his socks off. He's very, very unselfish. He does everything you really want, necessarily, besides maybe not scoring as much as you like. But he's a top player, and let's not kid ourselves. And it's the exact same with Madueke. He's clearly a top player. And, some people might turn their noses up at the transfer fee and the fact we're giving it to a direct rival who are a bit suspicious financially. But it's a good move for us. It's good for both parties. And ultimately, now he's one of ours. We've got to look after him. Stop the abuse. Stop being rude. It's needless. Finally, we're looking at Viktor Gyökeres, Swedish international, full international. And as a Swansea fan, watching him at, well, at the time it was the Liberty, since changed to Swancon, he was utterly disappointing. And yeah, it turns out he was injured for a lot of the time. Obviously went to Coventry at that loan spell. Mark Robbins then brought him in permanently, and the rest, as they say, is history. But it's one of those ones, it's unbelievable how he's gone from couldn't start for Swansea, Brighton didn't want him and were happy to get rid of him. Coventry City, take a gamble on him, to be fair. And after he gets back to full fitness, he's firing, Goes to Portugal, keeps doing same old, head down. And, now he's getting linked with a £75 million move to Arsenal. So, very happy with that. We've very obviously needed a centre-forward. Arteta hasn't signed one, allegedly, which is nonsense, because he signed Jesus and he also signed Havertz, but a lot of people will have you believe he hasn't signed a centre-forward. Again, nonsense. But, yeah, happy. He's dynamic, he's fast, obviously physical, and his finishing is, outrageously good. The only real thing he hasn't got in his game, personally, would argue, is that physical presence. But if we are to play like a two up top, or Havertz in and around him, or even Rice in and around him, that physicality, when we are going to hoof the ball up the pitch like we did do a little bit last season, we've got a lot of other tall players around him, so that may not necessarily be the issue a lot of people think it is. Yeah, very, very excited by that. He's done it against Man City, he's obviously done it for Coventry, and yes, that is a level below, but it doesn't seem to be much of an issue in terms of his ability to play at the very, very top level. So yeah, if that does eventually happen, it's very, very exciting, very happy about that, and that's a very, very decent transfer window by the looks of things, if all those things happen. And maybe, just maybe, there's a few rustlings of Iberieze being available. There's a few talks of Rodrigo. It seems unrealistic that we're going to get any of them, but nonetheless, very exciting. And last things last, and Mosquera So we've signed a Spanish international, can play right back and centre half allegedly from Valencia. So, cool. Arteta hasn't really made any nonsense signings with centre halves yet. You know, a few of them have just been unlucky with injury and what have you, and you know, you could argue maybe it's down to his tactics. We talked about this in a previous video. But, yeah, not really seen him play, not really got many comments on him, to be honest. Gonna leave that to the statisticians and the people that watch Spanish football. But, yeah, overall, good cover for Willow Saliba. Happy with that. And, yeah, on the whole, if this window does end like this, we get Gyökeres and we get Madueke, which it looks more and more likely that we are going to, then yeah, a very good window indeed. Now, before you're like, oh, you're just blindly being optimistic and all this stuff, look at who Liverpool have signed, look at who City have signed. Yeah, they've made good purchases. They're very good teams, but so are we. And on our day, honestly, we are as good as, if not better than them. You know, we're not ripping up our entire squad. Admittedly, we've made a lot of signings there, but look how many we're keeping as well. Liverpool have bought in 6-7 players, and yeah, sure, we are too. But in terms of the ones that are actually going to change the starting 11, it's realistically 2 players, isn't it? It's Gyökeres and whoever we get on the left, whether it's Madueke or Eze, or maybe both of them. Can't really see them both playing. And then obviously Zubimendi slotting in on the 6. So it's 2 or 3 players that's going to change our starting 11, most likely. Which is not that drastic. If you look at City, and they bought in, it's Pep Linders, Jurgen Klopp's assistant manager, and that's going to be most likely a complete change in philosophy. They're bringing on all these new players to most likely play in accordance with that philosophy. You've also got Liverpool, who are bringing in Florian Wirtz, who is someone that I've personally sung the praises of many times. He's a phenomenal football player. Jeremy Frimpong as well, again, another exceptional footballer. But in terms of getting used to the system, getting used to the new league, obviously Frimpong less so because he was trained with, I believe it was Manchester City's academy. But a lot of these players, it's their first time in the league. They're going to be getting up to pace, getting up to speed, getting used to the division, and then maybe kicking on and, you know, going back-to-back titles. However, it seems, and we've been saying this the last few years, but it seems like we are actually in a very healthy position to compete for some majors. And ultimately, it's too early to say what's success, what's failure for the season, because the transfer window hasn't closed, the league hasn't started, and we don't ultimately know what's going to happen across the course of 38 games before a single ball's been kicked. You know? So, all we can do now is wait, enjoy the weather, have a nice time, enjoy the summer, and yeah, just look forward to the return of Arsenal, some pre-season games, and then the start of the season against United. Yeah, really, really looking forward to that. It's going to be very positive. And yeah, well, that's that, isn't it? Alright, thanks for watching. That's that. Cheers. Bye-bye.